On mute. Can you guys hear us now?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. We lost our hotspot again, but we're good. Okay, so did you guys hear the motion or we need to reread it?
I didn't hear it.
Okay,
Okay, 10% of the profit is retained by ABC for administrative expenses. 45% of the profit from the National Specialty Show is to be carried over to the next year for the event, for the event chair to use for any and all expenses incurred, and a portion of these funds may be allocated to the summer specialty up to $1,000 at the third VP. That is to be put into the projects fund. In the event of a loss, 25% of the loss incurred will be deducted from the show projects fund.
Is this for the National Specialty Show?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure I understood that. Thanks.
okay, any discussion? Do we have a second,
Karen.
Karen? Okay, let's take a vote. We're gonna do a roll call vote here.
Bass,
No, you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Dow, Anderson.
Yes.
Palumbo,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
White, can't hear you, Bernie.
Burton, are you there?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay,
Joe,
No.
Hyder. But again, we don't.
Yes,
Linda,
Brett,
No. I have no clue.
Kelson, Smith,
I got the bill sent telemetry off of our chart. Some records are in there.
Tomasi,
Show,
Yes.
Site telemetry low, cellularity, limited cell site telemetry panel, born. B cell population.
okay,
approximately 30.
motion passed.
where's that coming from?
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, so we have the motions for the field events, or we can hold off on those and see how it goes with the show.
right, hold on a minute.
Sound good? Okay. And if you guys get complaints from the field events that the show is getting preferential treatment, then you,
But it does.
well, I'm sure we do. So,
I mean, you guys dress up in suits and shit like that.
sure.
Okay, let's go on to Joe. You want to bring this French Brittany thing up?
We're going to do the fields, we just did the show. We're gonna hold up on the field.
I know. Okay, James, Mr. Stevens, we're bringing up your point on the French Brittany Club that you brought up. And I'll just tell you that Joe and I have both spent a lot of time with the French Brittany Club that's in existence at this time, and are looking into another possible club that's forming from the guys that want to split off from the American Brittany Club. Is that a correct statement?
Yes.
Pretty much. Okay. So Joe and I will just carry on a discussion here.
Yeah.
You have to have a motion in a second on the table to do this before we
Okay.
have a debate when there's no discussion.
Okay.
So, okay, Jim or anybody doesn't want to bring a motion forward, then there is no.
I can't hear.
Okay, we're talking about having to have a motion to make a discussion.
I vote that we have a discussion on the free split between Brittany's and
Okay,
Hey. We're,
discussion.
we're having a hard time hearing you guys. Your bandwidth is
We
low.
have a motion to have a discussion on the possible split between the French and American Brittany Club. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All opposed, say nay. Okay, discussion.
I Stephen's feet if he has something that he wants to share, like him to say first. But I think we want to know.
Maybe you should come stand over here so they can hear better.
So I don't want to step on Stephen's feet.
Jim Stevens,
What?
Jim,
I don't want to step on Jim's feet because he put the motion forward. But I was put in charge of, for a year of doing the research on this. And I do have a pretty strong opinion on where the board should go that I would like to talk to you guys about. Or Bob and I can have a discussion back and forth that you guys can jump in because Bob and I have discussed it for a little bit this last couple weeks.
So what it comes down to, basically, there are two gentlemen who would like to have the French Brittany split off from the American Brittany in the United States to allow them to show their dogs in separate classes. And there is a French Brittany National Club with 240 members or so that have 7 regional clubs, a board of directors, a president, a treasurer, and money in the bank, and actually even a college fund for people. And they're happy with the way things are. So the big question Joe and I have is the gentlemen who want to split, do they have a club with members, board of directors, a treasurer, and so on? And that's the one thing we don't know yet.
So I did a year of research on this, and some of the information that we're getting is not correct. It's been manipulated a little bit, and it's really hard. You have, with this particular group of people, and I'll just be honest with you. So the membership gal that is the ex-membership for that club, give a free 1-year membership to everybody that buys a puppy from a breeder that belongs to the club. Okay. Okay. They also give away a free junior handlers membership. In that 240 person membership that they have, according to her, somewhere around 160 are your actual paying members, okay, that are committed to this. So it's a very small breed, small group of guys. That's why guys like Jackie and Clint LaFerry and those guys that are involved in what we're doing right now are all past presidents of this small group, and they're very passionate about that group, okay? So it's very hard to get truthful information on. I think what we should do as a group is table a meeting to make sure, because I think all of us can agree that if we're going to allow the split, we want to make sure that the club that it's going to is ready to take on the responsibility. Okay. The other thing too is if we do this and we put a committee together, we can actually, which the people that are against the split, because I'm trying to be as impartial as I can. Their big issue is the number of ABC members that actually have EBs and their impact on field trials and our clubs. Okay. So if we have a committee together in each region, we can get a hold of the secretaries. We can find out how many EB people are really there. I did a little research on the central. I'm looking at about 5 members in the central. The Midwest, I took a look at, I believe there's 1 in the Midwest. I did not take a look at the East or West Coast or the East Central.
We're thinking there's 3 on the East Coast.
These are French Brittany people or members of the
Right.
American Brittany
And,
Club.
and
Yeah.
there's 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like one of the gentlemen that contacted us through email that he had 10 members. Well, when I challenged him on that, I actually got a personal email back that didn't include any of you in there that said, oh, I made a mistake. It was actually 10 dogs. So, you know, that's why I'm saying there's a bunch of goofy information out there. And I think the best thing we could do is make a motion to table this until next year, put a committee together, figure out if it's viable, and move forward. I mean, this is just my opinion after going through it.
Jim?
Yeah.
Joe, I think we've got a lot of folks, probably on both sides, that are looking for an answer for what, 3 years now? Or 2 years?
For-
I think it's the third year. I don't think it's responsible for us to kick it down the road. And I think personally, I feel like the information that I got is sufficient to make a vote on this issue today. And I think we can reconsider it perhaps down the road, but I think we've got a group of people who are asking us for an action, and we need to, I mean, maybe everybody else feels like they need a lot more information. I don't.
So Jim, I do have a question for you.
Okay,
So if we vote today, do you know what the next step is?
I don't know what the next step is.
Okay.
Next step for who? For who?
For this, no, yeah, for us and for the split. Do you know what the next step is? Once this board has a vote, right?
Right.
And say we vote to split, do you know what the next step is?
I said I don't know what the next step
Okay.
would be. I know what our step would be. We have made a determination for the American River Club regarding this question. And I think that's important for us to do for the people that are asking us for an action.
Okay, so,
Because I think we've done this before, Joe. We said, we need more information. We'll deal with this next year. And then you do that again. I know it is done over.
I understand what you're saying.
Well, and I'll tell you, the thing is that our AKC representative has talked to Doug Lundgren about it, and AKC really doesn't want them to split off from us.
They do not, is that what
They
you
do
said?
not want them to split.
Well, that
Never have.
that is very interesting because that is not the information that I have from AKC.
What is the rationale?
This came from our AKC rep who got it from AKC.
Why?
See, but this is why we need a committee that's together. I mean, I can tell you right now that Cindy Miller is working with the board of directors over at AKC because AKC right now is trying to figure out how to split this breed because we're too stubborn to make a vote.
Okay,
But we did vote.
Yes,
Well,
We certainly, both you and Bob.
Yeah.
Certainly, I know everything else we got, but I agree with my partner
yep.
that, you know, that we've got focus from people about how they.
What?
But do you also, now just wait a second, do you also know that the same people that sent you those particular emails, that some of those trials are open to all breeds, so they would not lose the batons? Okay. Got it.
Joel,
Yeah.
Joel, Brett Limbeck here.
hold it, stop. We've got somebody talking.
Okay,
So, in this discussion.
Mhm.
okay, And spoke to many of the other magazines and else, those are the ones that did all the work, we did all the work. But I hate to go back as a director and say we did nothing, okay, when I've had many people say, this is all we want, we're coming here, and Jackie Hudson said, yes, I know we have a trial all over the place, okay, and others too. And I think we have a motion and a second, you know, to have a discussion and so forth. And if
Yep.
You're saying, let's table this till next time. That's one opinion, right?
Right, but I'm not asking to just table it. I'm asking to table it with a committee that would give us enough information to make an educated decision, because like I said, the emails that we got from Jackie, the emails that we've gotten from other parts of the world even,
Yeah.
they all have an agenda behind and there's also misinformation in every piece of it. So even if you go to the Sweden and the Norway situation, okay? FCI, which is in with AKC, which both use FSS for their stud book,
That's the
they
French.
want to stop the interbreeding of the American Brittany's and the French Brittany's in Norway and in Sweden, because every time they have an actual show there and they judge. What? Oh, okay. Every time they have a show there and something that doesn't go up according to standard, they get calls and complaints. So I'm just saying this doesn't just have, well, this is what's going on in the US. The other thing is too, is that Canada is tired of waiting for us, and they're actually now working with Leslie. Yes, and Canada will beat AKC to the split at this point. What now?
What are they gonna do? What is Canada?
They're gonna split. They're working with Leslie Andreas right now on a split, so they will have Bretons and they will have American Brittany's, because the club that currently in Canada follows the standard for American Brittany's.
Can I say
Joel?
something?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead,
That's
Brett.
next.
Brett,
Joel,
Yeah.
I have a question. You know, on things like this, you usually want to look for a win-win. And
Yes.
I'm not sure what the win-win here is for us. I mean, let me finish just a sec here. I got just a little bit. Is it because we don't allow them to show? Is that why they want to split?
So it's more than just that, okay? So you have a bunch of them that want to be able to have dual dogs, okay? They also, some of them feel that the field trials in UKC, where they have field trials in UKC, are not what they're looking for. That's why they're over here doing the American trials, but yet UKC is their showpiece. And there's a lot more to it. So unlike our club, with the UKC, when they cut their deal a jillion years ago, they ended up with power and money. So they have power to look at a breeding, say you send your litter registration in, okay? They can look at it and say, yes, you can register those dogs, or no, you cannot. And UKC gives their club a kickback for doing that. Then their club also gets the kickback for every puppy that's registered UKC, which is unique to their breed only. UKC does not do that with every breed. Okay. And then the other part of it is, as we know, as AKC people, when puppy buyers come to buy puppies, they are looking for AKC papers. And some of these people are tired of dual registering or trying to explain their UKC papers only to puppy buyers. And you also have the same thing that we have, because Dawn and I have a website, we sell puppies. We probably take about 15, 20 calls a year, where what they're really looking for is and luckily enough in Minnesota, we have a French Brittany club that is up north,
Right.
and we send them up to Jeff. But we still have to take all those calls, and the French Brittany guys are taking them.
Okay,
They know what you're looking for.
okay, I still haven't heard what's our win in this. What is our win in this if we split?
So, our win on
we split.
if we split,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if there's a win for either side or a loss for either side. To be honest, they're two separate breeds, in my opinion. I was judging them as an AKC judge. I would have to excuse that dog for lack of merit, okay? And now I've watched them run in the field, okay? So I like the Atos dog. I really do. I think that's a pretty decent Brittany out there running. I've watched Nalto and the other dogs, and I can see where they've gotten their wins, but I don't know if they're exactly national quality dogs with the way they quarter and where they run, okay? Which is probably pretty typical for their breed. I also have the advantage of having Bob as my trainer, who has a lot of French Brittany's go through his kennel that he's trying to train. So it is different than what we have.
But the win for us right now would be to leave it the same, to have them members of the ABC and run their dogs in their trials. The loss would be we would lose them if the breed split. So that would be the win or the loss. It wouldn't be huge numbers. And right now, it's not what their main club wants to do, but I think even they think that sometime down the road, there'll be a split.
So
Well, what-
the other
yeah,
piece of
but
it
what-
too, though, is they're also asking for a split right now from NAVDA, and they've already asked for a split from UKC. So my question would be, why are they not asking for a split from AKC?
I think it's just because they're running our trials and don't want to lose that.
No, it's not that they don't want to run in our trials. It's the fact that it become the AKC club.
Yeah.
So it's a power and money deal. So if this separates out this breed, they will lose a number of members, and they'll lose the money on the kickbacks, and they'll lose the power to say whether you're a registered Breton or not.
But the one thing neither one of us know is there a club there that could be an AKC club?
Right.
So the
So
gentlemen that are requesting the split have an LLC in Michigan, the club Betron USA or something like that.
America, yeah.
America, which is an LLC. We don't know if they have a board of directors, any members or anything else. So that was the one thing we were going to look into before. And if we do nothing today, then everything's going to stay the same as it is.
did that bigger club? I'm sorry, did that bigger club, the bigger club, they don't want to split? Bigger
They don't
club
want to
doesn't want to
split.
split. Then why are we talking about this?
But they're a UKC club, so that's.
They're a
that's
UKC club,
kind of
which is
irrelevant.
just what we learned about American Field, right? We can't talk to them. We can't recognize them. We're an AKC club.
But
Oh,
again,
so
they
that-
have dogs that are registered AKC and run an AKC trials.
Can I say something in response to that to Brett? Brett, I have a response on that where they don't want to split from us right now, but their website says that one of their missions is to maintain the split between the French Brittany and the American Brittany.
Okay,
Well, okay, but hold on. And they also were able to get where we're split in OFA records
Yes.
because they send their dogs in. And so if you go to OFA, their dogs are under EBs versus ours being American Brittany's. And then also in Penn Hip. So I just think it's interesting that they're saying they don't want to split when everything I'm seeing on their website indicates that they have this split from us, and they have national events, and our dogs can't compete in there because we are not able to register them under their registry, but they're competing in our national events because it's not a mutually beneficial situation. And I felt like an overall theme I got in the emails that were sent was that they have diverged into two separate breeds, but they're not ready to be their own breed club. And I would never want to kick someone out that doesn't have a place to go, but I do feel that they are separate breeds. So I think I would like to acknowledge that we have taken different paths, and we are two separate breeds at this point. We have split into, we have the EB and then we have the American Brittany. And we, doesn't mean that we're throwing them out. When they are ready to have their own club, when they are viable and they come to us with all their ducks in a row, we shouldn't stand in their way of forming their AKC club.
We would agree with that.
Yeah.
What we're saying is, we don't think they're ready to do that.
Can
Right.
I say something?
I wouldn't say that we don't think that they're ready yet. We don't know
No,
if they're
they're
ready
ready.
yet.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to several of their board members and AKC has certain rules of where you have to be at in order to be a club.
Yeah, and
We
then-
just need to double check that. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
what-
this is just simple stuff that we need to check before we decide to make a decision. Because we could all sit here today and go, okay, we vote to split. All right? What if their ducks weren't in a row? We look like a bunch of idiots. And then we have to send it next year to the membership. But then we have to tell the membership that we made a decision and they really don't have their ducks in a row. But if we put a committee together and they go, yes, they have their ducks in a row, and we make that decision, great. If we make the decision the other way, not to let them go, it's no big deal. Yes.
So where they are right now, they'll come to our car, the show.
Right. So even if after the split, they would be able to.
So if we made a decision to split,
Yes.
now we take them into a quarter.
No, we do not. So if you ever filled out an application for a field trial, you can check any box that you want for who run that trial. You can check and say, you can feel that it's only a Brittany trial, but you can check Breton and Brittany and run that trial that way. So the Iowa Brittany Club could check Breton and Brittany, and Jackie and Clint could come in and run their dogs.
But they would never,
What?
they would never run their. No,
No, if it's a split, they could not run at that. True.
What I'm saying is, this isn't the neutral answer to say, just leave it as it is, and then let them get their ducks in order, and they feel like somewhere down the line.
But the problem is that they feel that their ducks are in the order. All we're doing is we're checking it. Because
The kids think they can move out of the house and be other.
I absolutely agree. But the problem is that you can't tell me that they don't have enough members according to AKC to be a parent club. I can't tell you that they have enough members to be an AKC parent club.
See,
But if the committee called up Guy Fisher and they got to the right people to see where the application was put in, then you would know, yes, they do, no, they do not.
so the club that's in existence, if they wanted to turn into an AKC club, would probably be capable of doing that.
No, they can't.
Yeah, can I
Well,
say
they would just have
something?
to change the name of the club,
They'd have to dissolve the UKC club and then start up a brand new one.
but they would have everything there already. And the other two gentlemen up in Michigan, we don't know what they have.
Can I say something? So I've actually know a little bit more about the other two up in Michigan and what's going on. What they have told me is this, that there was a misunderstanding with Mary Beth at AKC. So what Mary Beth told them was exactly what I know for restarting a club, is that in order to be an AKC club, you have to have your 20 independent households and everything else. Mary Beth told them that in order for them to be an AKC club, that they would have to have first the split from the ABC. And then after all the paperwork, and AKC approved them to be the AKC club, then they could go on. And what they interpreted that to mean was that they could not form their club until after we made the split. So I talked to them and I said, no, you don't, it's a misunderstanding. You don't understand what
What they
Mary
said.
Beth actually told you. Mary Beth didn't tell you you can't have a club. Because in order for you to be the AKC club, you have to have a club.
Yeah.
So they are in the process. They're working with somebody who has helped several other breeds do splits, including
that's-
their work right now that's working with the Akitas, with the Japanese Akitas versus what's essentially American
Okay, so
Akitas.
that's what we were gonna look into.
Right.
Right.
And even after, I mean, we're not gonna pick which club
Mm-mm.
gets to be the club. All we would say is, maybe in their best interest, we would see that there is a viable club out there, but we don't get to pick that it's this one versus this one. And so if we vote that they'll split, then it's gonna go on from there. And from there, once their club is set up, it's probably going to be at least 10 years before, this goes forward, really. So you're not talking about something that's going to happen then, and the breed will still be able to be an American Brittany club or American Brittany up until that time. Once their club is AKC approved and formed and they get their foundation stud book started, they have 18 months to decide which dogs are going in that stud book. It could be, you get a form that says, do you want to be an American Brittany or an Spaniel Breton? And you check the box, and then they really start off from there. So I think that we should table this. Let them work their ducks out. Let us figure out what's going on with it. Maybe help whichever club we think has the most strength.
And see, my opinion on this too is that if we put this committee together, we not only work with the American club to figure out where they're at, but also work with the US club. Because there is a US club to dissolve and reincorporate and take on that AKC position.
And if this doesn't happen with us, what's going to happen in Canada? And we have dogs crossing the border back and forth from Canada. It's going to be a huge mess.
I have a question.
Yep.
So if, let's say, we vote to make this city and bring back all the stuff, then the next meeting, we're gonna have a discuss again, right? Okay,
Well, the committee will come forward to
okay.
with the recommendation.
If we voted to say, like, we acknowledge that there's an EB and there's an American Brittany, and we acknowledge that there are two breeds, but, in AKC's eyes, they're under one umbrella, but if the EBs ask us at some point in time to have their own breed club, right, that we are supportive of that, then when they do that, it's just a, simple, yay, good for you. You're good. Like, and we don't have to have another long drawn out meeting.
No, we have to do that. Because according to AKC rules, our board has to vote to split.
Okay.
And we have to go back to AKC with a letter, why we decided that we asked for the split. Then we have to then have membership vote. It cannot just be solely a board deal. Our membership has to.
I'm just saying, like,
I understand
I'm
what you're
trying to
saying.
make this as simple as possible,
Right.
because I think most of us are on the same page, acknowledging that it's two separate breeds,
Yes.
but we're not splitting right now because we're not gonna throw these people out.
Right, so we could have one motion to basically kind of adopt the same language as the UKC club has that
Okay.
says that we are, as a club, actively,
This,
whatever it says, actively,
Okay.
and we don't interbreed, blah, blah, blah,
okay,
right? And then we could have another motion to table this, put a committee together,
okay,
and then,
I would agree.
but
with
at
that.
least that way, we're also telling our membership that we did something. We
okay,
put together a committee and we will deal with it next year.
okay.
And then that'll give them a voice for a year.
I mean, Jim Stevens hasn't even said anything, and it's his motion.
Well, it's, I've seen a lot. Go ahead.
Jill. Go ahead.
I've seen the lively discussion on emails, and I brought it up because it was brought up to me, but also hearing from other members. I don't want to hurt the field trial entries, but people were, to me, it was partly a confirmation difference. I mean, they're a distinct and different breed, and they seem to be heading down the track. Obviously, Joel has a lot more information than I've ever seen, so I think a committee might be a good idea.
Yes, those,
Sure.
My concern is that we have just kicked this down the road with people. And we've got people that are looking for an answer from us, which is the reason we got all these emails. What if we made a motion? Still have that committee take some type of action. And that motion motion would be, I make the motion that ABC not recommend to AKC at this time to split the breed to American breeding. I mean, it still leaves the door open, well, it's always open, but it also sends a message that at this time, we are not ready to split the breed. We can also, at the same time, if you want this committee to study it further, we can do that on parallel track. But my concern is that we have repeatedly kicked this issue down the road and put it off the future action. And I think we are at a point now where we've got people on both sides that want us to take a stand.
Jim, I really don't agree with you because in 2018, we were asked, I was put in charge to look at it. 2019, we voted. We haven't heard from them since 2019. We're now at 2022.
What did we vote?
We voted no.
We voted no.
Voted no.
Yeah, we voted no.
We notified AKC, we
Voted no. Yep. And AKC wants to be notified whenever this split deal comes up.
For 4 years.
So 4 years ago. So we haven't dealt with this for 4 years.
Oh, we have, because I've been here when you talked about.
We didn't.
We have not voted since 2019.
We voted when Kent Patterson was monitoring. the
That was
meeting.
2019.
And that was right here in this building.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was.
No, it was.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was
Yes,
over. It was over there.
because
and
we
you
were
were
in
not.
that room over there, and
Yep.
I was not the secretary, but I was sitting behind the
What year
health
was it?
producer.
Yep. 2019. No, it was 19.
Okay,
So it's been 4 years.
Can I just see if that motion would stand? Guys,
okay.
Almost.
They're gonna come right back from, right?
Okay, so read your motion.
Okay.
Maybe not.
We do not recommend to AKC at this time to split the breed into American breeding.
And that was seconded. Okay. What's that? Well, I think we probably talked this all through. Unless it's something.
Can you tell me
Oh,
how
yeah.
many?
Mark, you have no
We've already
stats for
We've
that.
discussed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've discussed that.
Can
Okay,
somebody repeat the motion? I couldn't hear it.
yes. Here we go.
ABC will not recommend to AKC at this time. We are not ready to split the breed between, and we need to add American Britneys and EB.
This is,
Right.
I have a problem with making a decision not to split because of money and not because there's two separate breeds.
well,
They are
not-
genetically two
but
separate breeds, but that- I know,
genetically, they're
I-
one breed, but they've been trained in different ways and bred in different ways. Genetically, they're one breed.
Can you show me that?
They're not
I-
genetically.
Do you
They're
have me?
absolutely two different.
Well,
Can
Yeah, I'm
anybody
just
show me
saying,
that?
I would feel much more comfortable if we acknowledged, like the EB US people said, there are two separate breeds and they are against people crossbreeding. That's why you cannot register any litters where they have been intermingled with American breeds.
Can we do this? Can we vote on
We
this
have a motion
motion?
on
Yeah.
And then I will
motion.
make a separate
Well, I thought we
motion.
were in discussion on his motion.
It
Okay,
says,
that's why I
I
made that
make the
statement
mo-
because,
the motion
You can
is, I
say,
make,
you can, sorry, you can say they're two different breeds because they look different, but you cannot say they're two different breeds because they're genetically different.
Can you show me the genetics of
he did.
Where?
He sent that to us. all.
I can show you what Embark says. And if you believe Embark science, I can show you what they say.
Yeah,
I asked Embark.
that? Okay.
I asked Embark if their tests could tell the difference between an American Brittany and a French Brittany, and they said no. To date, there's no genetic test that can, because in their eyes, They, American Brittany split off from French Brittany's. I don't know why anybody thinks that they would, the genetic markers that make them a Brittany and distinguish a Brittany from an English setter or any other breed would be any different. It has nothing to do with what they look like. They've been undergoing selective breeding for generations to look different. But the basic genetics of the two lines of the same dog are the same.
Like you to send copies of the French version of that, and exactly how that changed.
Okay, the motion is, I make the motion that ABC not recommend to AKC at this time to split the breed into American Brittany's and French Brittany's. It was seconded. We've discussed it. Do a roll call vote.
Dr. Bass,
Can I ask one more question?
Yes,
How long before this could be revisited?
How long
How
before,
long before this could be?
Next
revisited?
year.
next year.
after we look into,
And we're going to establish the committee
yes,
to vote on that.
Let's have more than a committee of one this year.
well, I'll take
I'm
care.
sorry, Joe.
I'm sorry.
I
You
agree.
turned everybody down that offered and you never gave any of the information
Okay.
that I forwarded to you.
Okay,
Yeah,
now, we're
it's
not gonna
about-
get into a fight here. I'm going to get a
Hanson,
committee.
No.
Dow, Anderson, Colombo,
yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Weiss, Burton,
Burton,
Yes.
He's got to unmute.
Droll,
No.
Hyder,
Yes.
Lindback,
Yes,
Burt. Brett, I meant.
yes,
Mazzalotti.
No,
Brown.
no.
Kowski,
No.
Hammond.
Yes.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 no's. It's 10 yes.
Can I
Motion
make-
passed.
Another motion
in regards to,
to the Brittany's and Emmanuel Bretons. I'd like to make a
Come make it to
motion
the thing.
following the CEB-US.com's own position statement, which is,
what's the motion?
so my motion is the ABC recognizes that the Emmanuel Breton breed and the Brittany have separate breeds in the United States and abroad, and we discourage crossbreeding amongst representatives from the two distinctly different breeds.
So what, the motion does what? Just says that we know that?
It's just that we are making, it's a position statement.
Yeah.
Which is basically the same word as their wording from their own website.
I'll second.
Which one?
This one.
Could you repeat that, please?
So my motion is the ABC recognizes that the Emmanuel Breton breed and the Brittany are separate breeds in the United States and abroad, and we discourage crossbreeding amongst representatives of the two distinctly different breeds.
Do you have some genetic information that hasn't been presented to us?
I'm using the CEB-US.com's own website and their position statement.
That's their position. That doesn't necessarily mean it should be ours.
Basing our decision on
And they're changing.
their guys that are coming out of there anyway, so we're not going to agree with it. That doesn't even make common sense.
I think we're gonna get a letter saying they're changing. At least we've been notified they are attempting to change that now, but that's outdated.
Okay, we need to get through with this. Is there gonna be a second for this motion? Which
I'll
I
second.
don't understand. It's not gonna do anything
It's
for
just a
us.
position.
It's
trying to
not
find it.
like it's helping our club or anything. It's just a motion of what somebody else made from a different club. I don't understand.
Well, it's just our position statement, like the Golden Retriever Club of America came out with a position statement saying that they don't agree with having doodle crosses.
Would you write that motion down and send it to
I
me?
have, and I'll be happy to hand
Or
it.
read it to everybody? Okay, position statement, the ABC recognizes the East Hanover John breed and the Brittany are separate breeds in the United States and abroad, and we discourage crossbreeding among representatives of the two distinctly different breeds.
Oh, here
Are
it
you
is.
sure you want to read it?
Really not for the board. So
So I think you're gonna spend a lot of people without scientific information. Because we've got two different scientific information.
one group, but side, take their position. That's all.
I think it'd be best just to not do that, Karen, and let Mr. Droll and I set up a committee to look into this and see when they're going to be ready for the split, talk to AKC about it, do all those things. If we don't do anything, nothing's going to change with those groups right now until we tell them it's okay to do it. Is that?
I really don't see an issue with that statement, considering that the French Brittany's, so the guys that you're talking about, that, you know, that you just based your decision on, wrote that statement, okay? So,
Joe, I didn't, let me correct you. I didn't make my decision.
okay, but I know you guys have been very vocal, okay? So, I talked to the president of the US Club about a month and a half ago, okay? They will not, their club, their code of ethics for breeders is they do not breed to American breeds. Okay? American breeds, as American breeds, we should not be breeding to eagles. That's my opinion.
What about some of the dogs we have that are running in our process? We have a lot of dogs in our suburb that have been bred that way, and you just slap them down in the face and say them like this.
That is from years ago. We have not crossbred anything that's currently out there.
You have, but other people have. In Norway and all places around the world.
Okay, and I just explained to you that FCI is going absolutely nuts because FCI is what Norway follows. And every one of those guys that have bred into the American dogs, in FCI's eyes, have prospered, okay? Because they do not follow the standard, the FCI standard, because that's what that country has agreed to follow.
You
Okay.
just ran a national champion.
What?
Did you not run a national amateur champion? That was Foster. Who was the dog that replaced the?
Stinksos Hank's hat. Yeah. That's out of two Stinksos dogs. There's, as far as I know, there's no Stinksos dog that went into. I mean, I can pull up the pedigree right now.
Told me something wrong.
Yeah, no, I think somebody told you something wrong.
But
Because
we have like Jackie's dog. Black nose. What is she?
yeah, absolutely. And that dog, if you look at that pedigree, there's no American Brittany in that dog's pedigree. That dog was an import that came here straight across.
But we do recognize in our suburb, we have dogs that are.
We may have.
Right. But this says, it just says if we're gonna to discourage and prevent, because we wanted.
So the letter that we got from the French, do you remember that letter that happened to be posted all over the place that you directed to me? So basically what they said, so here's your research. In 1908, when the standard came out, okay? No black. It was not added until 1956. So almost 50 years. supposedly there was not one black registered Brittany in France. Okay? Most of the Britneys that came over here came in, what, 23, 24, 25, 26. There was no black. They're all orange and white. In order to put that back in, I also believe if you read back in your history books, we sent them about a dozen Britneys back in the 20s in order to reestablish, which they then told us that they sent us interior dogs and they weren't going to use them in that breeding program. Now, if you read a couple other deals, if you get them translated from French like I did, there are several people that are very knowledgeable in what happened before and will explain to you that English cockers and especially English springers, difference, the body difference, that kind of stuff, were bred into the breeds that they had at the particular time, and that's how the black color came back. So there's a bunch of different theories, there's a bunch of different ways to look at it. The thing that I can guarantee you is from 1908 to 1956, there wasn't a registered black or black pigmented Brittany in France. So you tell me where they pull it out of in almost 50 years. So you tell me that the DNA is absolutely identical from our Britneys that came over in 1926 from the original lines, even though we may have done some hanky-panky with them, compared to the ones in 1956 where the black color was allowed back in. There is a difference.
Well, actually, the story I heard was that there was a gentleman in France that kept a line bred black color,
Yeah.
but he couldn't register them until after the war, when they were showing laws that allowed that.
And then from Gal, the president of the US Club told me is that even though you can have 5 generations of orange and white Britneys, you can breed an orange and white to an orange and white and a black and white will pop out.
Genetically, no.
Which is
All right,
Okay,
let's-
so we have a motion and we have a
Let's
second.
vote on this, and, because we gotta get
Vote
going.
on it?
Well, we have a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bass? The
No.
motion is the ABC.
Said no.
Okay, no. Hanson,
Yes.
Dow, Anderson, Colombo,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Weiss,
No,
Rowe, Hyder,
yes,
Leah,
No,
Wilson, Leslie. Yes. Brown,
Yes.
Tomasi,
Yes.
Hammett. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 no's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 yes. The motion passed. I would like to say one thing about this. Part of the reason the Norwegians and Ivan has been promoting trying to bring American breed into the Norwegian breeds and the Swedes is the tailless gene is still prevalent in the European dogs, and it's causing a lack of one vertebrae. And instead of 8 vertebrae, they now have 7 vertebrae, which is causing them to go lame. And that's one of the reasons he's been trying to use some of the American dogs. If
Okay,
you
can I-
remember,
Can I put some input?
I'll let me finish.
Okay.
Okay, we need to actually get
Yeah.
away from this
Yeah.
and go on.
Yes.
So appreciate you bringing this up, but we're done with this.
Okay,
Okay,
well, we weren't until we got
We're-
to vote.
we're done after the vote. Okay, and I'll set up a committee. Okay, look into,
Okay, can we reflect that in the minutes?
what's that?
Reflect that in the minutes, please.
didn't we just
Bob
decide
Rankin
to
is
split the
study-
breed?
Well, they decided, the decision
We
was to
decided it's
go
a separate-
ahead and
It's a separate breed, is
No.
what they just voted on, isn't it?
they voted on the statement from the French that said it was a separate breed. We ourselves voted not to split the breed, okay?
But wasn't that a position statement for the American Brittany Club?
Okay,
Yeah, that's what they voted on, was to make that the statement from the American Brittany Club.
Which means we both,
Yeah,
that
so-
it's a separate breed, so let's just vote to split it and be done with it.
No, we voted that as an opinion, not the fact that we voted not to split it this time. That was an opinion of the American Brittany Club, but we voted not to split it this time.
Even though we think they are.
Okay.
Just be quiet, just be quiet. Okay.
I mean, I think
All
that's
right,
the
now-
point. If it's a separate
Okay.
breed, let's just vote to split and AKC will work it out.
Okay, we've already voted not to do that, and we're not going back to it. But Joe and I and a couple other people are gonna check and see if they have any viability to become an AKC club.
That's not
And see what-
that's not our problem.
Yes, it is, because we have to vote to allow them to separate. Then we have to have all of our members vote to allow them to separate. So yes, it is our problem. Not as big as their problem, but it is partly our problem.
Bob, so Carrie said if we made any type of vote like that, even though it was for a year, that after we give her, they'll make it see what we decide.
I don't have her number, but
Okay.
you have it? Okay, we'll call her.
Yeah,
I was gonna-
she wanted to answer right away after the last split.
Okay.
She told me that she wanted.
All right, I think we're done with motions. Am I correct? We're going into executive session to vote.
Could I ask you to come back? You're supposed to come back in and announce the decision so that I can
Yes.
record. Well, last year they didn't,
Oh, they
so
didn't?
I'm asking the board. We have a different chair. I just want to make sure everybody doesn't pack up like we did
Okay.
last year.
yes, I do.
5 break for Pauline
break.
now. We're going into executive session.
Oh, do we want to go into the other room or we stay right here for executive session? Okay.
Thank you. Oh, Terry Hilliard. Oh, I thought you meant that.
Right, I got
So are we done?